Hey guys, it's Abby Vlogs, and I know I haven't been on in a while. Um, Reason why is that a couple weeks ago I threw out my back at work, so I was in like a lot of pain because it was in like my lower back and my hips, and so I was not doing all that great. But that happens because my spine is curved. Oh, okay. For some reason it restarted. Okay. Hi. Well, I'm Abby Vlogs, and as I was saying before my thing decided to restart, I was gone for a couple weeks because a couple weeks ago my my back spasmed out at work, and I was in a lot of pain because it was in my lower back and my hips, and because my back is curved, like right near the tail, like close to the tailbone. Like, let's see, like from here down to here is curved. Oh, let me, like from here, like right around in here, right here, down, down to like what here is curved. Like it is like this. Hold on, let me, there, so that it's not backwards for you guys. It's like my back is like this. Like it's like down and curved to the left, not to the right, to the left. Like my left, which is this way for me. And my neck doesn't have that curve. My neck is like completely straight. So I have like a lot of neck problems sometimes, and I have to like crack my neck. But yeah, today I will be reading chapter 4 of this. Oh, and the previous week I was on my lady stuff. For you ladies out there, you know what I'm talking about. That time of month. So, that happened. Now, let's get into the book. Chapter 4, The Keeper of Keys. Summary. Rubius Hagrid arrives at the hut on the rock where the Dursleys are hiding. After smashing in the door, terrifying everyone and creating a warm fire along the hot tea and sausages, he delivers Harry his Hogwarts letter at last. Despite the Dursleys' protest, Hagrid tells Harry the truth about his parents and reveals that Harry is in fact a wizard. Though Harry is skeptical at first, he finally comprehends what this revelation means for his past and his future. But when an enraged Uncle Vernon goes so far as to insult Albus Dumbledore, Hagrid gives Dudley a pig's tail, prompting the Dursleys to flee the scene in terror. Ooh. At last we have reached the moment that acts as a catalyst for the rest of the book and the entire series. Harry meets his first mentor, the half-giant keeper of the keys and grounds at Hogwarts, Rubius Hagrid. For the first time since he went to live with the Dursleys, Harry experiences kindness from a friend. The shift in perspective from the first chapter is also clear here. We as readers met Hagrid in chapter 1, but now he is described to us from Harry's point of view, which brings him to life in a whole new way, though we see his temper and the slightest hint of danger in Hagrid's interactions with the Dursleys. We also see a great amount of warmth and loyalty. Although he enters the room with a burst of destructive violence, Hagrid's first order of business is to create a warm fire and have tea in an effort to make the small hut feel more comfortable. He's complimentary and kind to Harry, offering much needed food and a connection to Harry's parents. He is the first in the series to compare Harry to James and Lily. In sharp contrast to the Dursleys, Hagrid gladly and readily answers Harry's questions. In fact, Harry's first words to Hagrid are question. are a question. Hagrid will be a source of information as the series goes on, but even in their first interaction, it's clear Harry feels as if he's allowed to ask him anything. For a child that has been repressed most of his life, this is an extraordinary change, a gift, and Harry can't seem to stop asking questions once he has the unspoken permission to do so. Hagrid's arrival also brings the terrible truth about Harry and his family. The fear of Lord Voldemort and Harry's fame are foreshadowed here. Hagrid initially refuses to save Voldemort's name, but eventually relents once he realizes there is no other way to convey the necessary information to Harry. Even these small answers start unlocking some of the memories of that terrible night for Harry, as he remembers a high, cold laugh and a flash of green light. For the first time, Harry also hears about his parents, figures who have been minimized and erased from his childhood at the Dursleys' insistence. This helps to give Harry more of a sense of individual identity. He had parents that were loved and magical, establishing a legacy to live up to. Though this moment is pivotal for Harry, it's intriguing to imagine what Petunia might be feeling. For perhaps the first time she is exposed to the person her sister was in her other life, a life that caused Petunia to push Lily away through the eyes of a figure who views her sister as a hero and a martyr. If Petunia's hatred of magic comes from a sense of rejection, perhaps she may experience guilt or sadness for the brave sister she cut out of her life. Though Harry now has the truth and his questions are being answered, he still is skeptical that he could be a wizard. This speaks to the trauma and abuse he has suffered for the past 10 years, and his mind and his inability to instantly magic away all his problems means he couldn't possibly be special. However, herein lies one of the greatest lessons of the entire series. Everyone is worthy regardless of circumstance, and with some time, work, love, and friendship, everyone can become the person they are meant to be. I will now go back and read the side stuff. First mentions are the McKinnons, the Bones, and the Pruitts. Magical theory. Hagrid's wand was broken when he was expelled from Hogwarts, yet we see him perform magic in this chapter with his umbrella. Does the umbrella contain the broken pieces of his original wand, his repaired original wand, another wand, or something else? Did Dumbledore perhaps repair it with the Elder Wand? Timeline, July 31st. July 31st, midnight. Hagrid knocks on the door of the hut on the rock, waking the Dursleys and surprising Harry. Hagrid introduces himself and gives Harry his letter. The truth about Harry's past is revealed. Soon after midnight, the Dursleys flee the room in fear. Hagrid gives Harry his coat to sleep under for the night. Did you know the name Rubeus finds its origins in the Latin rubor, which means red, and is related to the word ruddy, which means reddish. A ruddy complexion is often used to describe someone who drinks a lot, and according to the author, Hagrid is also another Old English word meaning if you were Hagrid, you'd had a bad night. In addition, the word haggard comes from a Middle French word meaning wild, unruly, quite a fitting name for our favorite half-giant. Consider this. Do you think Harry would have turned out differently if he'd known his story from a younger age? Fandom. Hagrid is often compared to Mary Poppins. Use of an umbrella aside, they both bring a certain type of magic to children who are in desperate need and carry a bag, or coat, in Hagrid's case, of endless wonders. From the podcast, Hagrid comparing Harry's looks to his dad and mom, it's like a connection with his parents. He's never had it in his entire life, and suddenly in this first sentence, he's identified with his father and his mother, which for an 11-year-old who is an orphan must be huge on a personal level. Noah said this in episode 2. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Neville Longbottom receives his Hogwarts letter confirming he is not a squib. Beyond the books, Hagrid states Harry's name's been down ever since he was born. This is a reference to the Quill of Acceptance and the Book of in the Book of Admittance, the four founders of Hogwarts placed these items in a small locked tower, and headmasters slash headmistresses of the school are among the rare few who can access them. As soon as a child shows signs of magic, the quill will attempt to write their name in the book, but the book will sometimes shut itself until it is convinced the child's level of magic is high enough to be deemed acceptable enough for instruction. Did you know? This chapter is likely the first time in his life that Harry has been told he looks like his parents. And now I will show you the pages. That is the summary page, which is what I first read. And then you got the timeline down here, which is really short. And then you got the magical theory right here. And then the first mentions here. And then you got the did you know here. The fandom is like right there. From the podcast, it's at the bottom of the page. And consider this is right here. And then for the last page, you got the meanwhile elsewhere right here, beyond the books here, and the did you know at the bottom of the page. This was another short chapter. Next chapter will be an extremely a long one. The next chapter will be a long one. Yeah, it will be like a long one, a long chapter next time, because we get into the more detailed parts, like Diagon Alley. So that is that for this one, for that chapter. But I want to do something a little different. I'm actually going to edit the title. I am going to be showing off some drawings that I did that I have started. Ooh. Here's one. There's another one. These are all going towards my business that I'm hoping to start, probably within either this year or next year, I'm hoping. I also did some for like Pride. I'm still working on the Pride ones, so there's this one. And then I just did this one like a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's a work in progress, but I'm doing my best. But yeah, that is all for this video, and I will see you guys in the next stream. So, yeah. Bye.